One entire month, I get a letter, and the letter says, you have made £5 in commission. And I thought, man, this isn't right.
Oh, shit.
And so it really forced me to kind of take an extreme approach. And once I took that approach, which was learn marketing, understand psychology of the human buying behavior, and then understand funnels. The first year I did 120K, second year I did 275K, third year I was 23, I made my first $1 million profit. And then I spent about 3-4 years on the road. I traveled about 50-60 countries. Man, all these people need is a damn funnel. Right? Once I cracked the code, I boiled it down to 7 steps. Everything just flows easier. The reason why I share this stuff is to give you guys an epiphany of what's possible. Hello. You guys can say hello back. All right. Awesome. I'm going to share with you guys the stuff that has worked for me, that's working for me right now, funnels, what's working to get lots of customers. So sometimes when you hear these big numbers, like people making $1 million a month, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, I just want to make an extra 10 or 20K a month. Man, I'd be happy. Yes or no? All right. And so what I'm going to give you an overview at a high level, and then I'm going to break it down as to what the psychology is, because after doing this now for over 10 years, the biggest mistake people make is they don't understand the psychology that goes on inside of their marketing. Does that make sense? So almost every single person that comes through, they're always, and I get it, even when I was a newbie and I was starting off, this is how I was as well. I wanted the next tactic, the next shiny, whatever someone was offering me. Once I understood it's about the principles and not the tactics, that's when my business really flourished. Does that make sense? And so even now, yesterday I was speaking to someone, and I just said, hey, I've never actually built a funnel in my entire life. Right? My team does it, but not me. Because I knew early on, if I can delegate everything, okay, that's also a mantra of mine. I like to delegate everything. Okay, how many of you would like to delegate everything? All right, so just to kind of pre-frame this, I got started about 10 years ago, and I came to an event here in London. It was in Ibis. Anyone from London? Just a handful of you guys. Okay, so I go to this event, and there was a bunch of speakers. They all flew from America. They're on stage, and they're talking about how they're making millions of dollars. And I come in, and I see this Indian guy get up, and he just resonated with me for whatever reason. Okay, I'm Bangladeshi, actually. He's Indian, and he basically got on stage, and he started showing people how he was making over 100 grand per day. Yeah. You can have a moment of silence, okay? But how many of you think that's a lot of money? That's especially a lot of money if you grew up in East London, where I grew up. I grew up not necessarily rich. I had lived in a 3-bedroom council flat, government housing, with 13 people living there. So growing up, I actually didn't know we were poor. Then I met rich people, and I thought, oh shit, I've been poor my whole life. How do I get on that side? And I remember meeting this guy and thinking to myself, I was conditioned to go to school, college, university, get a degree, get a job, and if I could make 50 grand a year, that's a lot of money, right? Anyone else in that camp? Yeah, especially if you're brown and Asian, become a lawyer, doctor, that kind of profession. And here I see this guy making a ridiculous amount of money. The next day, I went and I quit university. Literally the next day, I dropped out in my final year. Instead of getting into investment banking, I got into this. And I tried every single thing under the sun, just like some of you guys. This isn't your first event, yeah? How many of you guys have come to way too many events? Only one honest lady there, all right? The rest of you, stop lying, all right? How many of you guys are just getting way too many emails in your inbox every single day, all right? And you're like, oh my, yesterday I was speaking to someone, and he met me for dinner, and then he shows me his phone, as if he's really proud, and he's like, look how many emails I get every day. I said, bro, that's not how you make the money. You're the one supposed to send the emails. Yes or no, guys? Right? So the first mental shift you need you need to come to terms with is you need to become a producer, not a consumer, right? You need to stop just consuming stuff. One of the guys yesterday was like, do you know this person? Do you know that person? I'm like, no, I don't know anyone. I have a life outside of my business. I'm Muslim, so I have to pray 5 times a day. And I got married, and I realized I have a responsibility now. So I have to take care of her. And I'm like, I don't have time to consume everyone's stuff. And then I said to him, you do know consuming doesn't make you any money. And he's like, so how am I supposed to do this, right? And I can just see in his face, he's just like, he's at this event, he's jazzed up, and he's listening to everyone. I think he's going to be a TikTok star, and then a YouTube star, and then I don't know what else he's going to do. And I'm looking at his face, and I said, it's 80-20, right? Produce 8 hours of the day, and then maybe listen to someone and learn something 2 hours. And he goes, man, I'm the opposite. I said, that's why you're stuck. All right, so for me, the big breakthrough came, I was trying 101 different things, and I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And at the time, I was probably 21 years old, and I managed to get into debt, $40,000, and this was it. Like either I make it online or I just go back to a job. And I realized even if I got a job, it would take me a long time to pay it off. And my dad, he basically offered me a job in his construction company. I spent probably about 2 months there, and I tried to employ his staff and set up my own company. And on the first day, he caught me and he said, don't steal my employees. And then I said, okay, this ain't gonna work. So I left the construction site. That was the only job, first and only job I had in my entire life. And then I come across this concept of website funnels, right? Back then, no one used to call them funnels. They used to just call them websites. And here's what happened, right? Especially as an Asian kid, my dad would say, go and make money, save up, and then buy a property. You put tenants in the property, and then you can make passive income. So, his friends and him, they would buy a property, and then they would stick tenants in there and get passive income. And obviously, I'm growing up, and I'm seeing all this technology and the boom of social media, and I'm thinking to myself, it doesn't matter how big the house is, you're capped by how many people you can put in that room, in those rooms. Yes or no, guys? Right? And some of his friends, I would see, they'd knock down the buildings, they'll get planning permission. Some of them, I'm sure, illegally just put more tenants in, whatever the case. You know how it is, okay? No? You don't know how it is? Okay, fine. That's how it is, by the way, okay? And so, regardless, I tried to crack my head around this, and I thought, how do I get unlimited amounts of people coming to me? And at the time, I wasn't as confident as I am now. I was kind of overweight, really overweight, had long, greasy hair, and when you're in debt, your self-esteem can take a beating, yes or no? If you guys had an extra $1 million or $10 million in your bank account, would you have a lot more confidence? Yeah, trust me. Yes, you would. Everyone say yes. Yeah. Okay, so here's what happens, right? I get online and I find people that are getting lots of people coming to them. So my marketing strategy was I joined a network marketing company. Any network marketers here? Okay, this was like 10 years ago, and they basically said, make a list of your friends and family and go and hand out business cards and DVDs. So I would come to events just like this, except they were free, and I would hand out these DVDs in the, do you guys remember DVDs? Yeah, in the hopes that someone would come in and become a customer. And it was tiring. I think after handing out like maybe 100 DVDs, I got like one customer. And then I go online and I started generating leads. And I want you guys to get this, because when you get this, your entire financial future just becomes easy. And I don't mean to say it's going to be get rich quick easy, but once you understand, and write this down, once you understand how to generate customers, okay, the difference between someone who's struggling right now, and some of you are struggling, some of you are lying to yourself that you're not struggling, but really you are when you look at your bank account, okay? Only one lady, she's always nodding. Okay, so here's the thing. When you get this, and when you understand customer acquisition, okay, all of you need to make a commitment that you want to become a master at customer acquisition. Do you guys get that? What is customer acquisition? It doesn't matter what business you're in, what business your neighbor is in, okay? You want to be able to go and generate customers. The reason why I have confidence, I have ability, I have XYZ, all praise to God, number one. Number two is I have this ability, I can go and generate customers. So I can go into any business, your business, my friend's business, any local business, whatever the case is, and I can go and set up a system and increase that business's revenues. Now, if you do that, do you think you're going to become a more valuable person in society? 100%. Do you think you're going to get paid a lot more? It's like only this side is saying yes. Are you guys like a little bit less smart or something? Yeah, thank you. You know, the faster you get, thanks guys, and thanks for the one person clapping. So once I figured out how do I get customers coming to me, because I used to get rejected a lot of times. How many of you have been rejected maybe a few times too many? Okay? And so the rejection, by the way, is what forced me to go and learn marketing. Before, I would try to do referral marketing, organic marketing. I would literally text people and say, do you know anyone that has a business that can send me customers? And they'd be like, get lost, you know? And I think the nail in the coffin, as they say, is we used to promote this company called, I only promoted it for like a month, because it's called Utilities Warehouse. Are they still around? Yeah, it's like this MLM company that saves you gas and electricity. So I remember going to my friend's neighbor's house, everyone's house. Anyone that moved, basically, I knocked on the door and I tried to sell them this thing on how to save gas and electricity. I remember going to my dad's office and I said, Dad, you look like a sharp person. He said, what? I said, Dad, do you have 2 minutes? I need to show you a life-changing opportunity. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I said, Dad, I can show you how to save gas, electricity, bills in our house, in all the properties. And he said, and then I started just talking, maybe verbal diarrhea. And he said, son, there's the door, get out, don't come back. And on the way out, I saw his friend. And I said, Uncle. And he goes, what's up? And I said, Dad just doesn't get it. He doesn't see my vision. Right? I was on a mission to save people gas and electricity bills. And he goes, what's going on? I said, Uncle, you look like a very sharp person. Can I come to your house? I need to show you a life-changing opportunity. So I go to his house, and I must have spent like 2-3 hours, and I pitched him this how to save gas and electricity. And at the end, I think he just felt sorry for me, so he just bought. At the end of that one entire month, I get a letter, and the letter says, you have made £5 in commission. And I thought, man, this isn't right. And so it really forced me to kind of take an extreme approach. And once I took that approach, which was learn marketing, understand psychology of the human buying behavior, okay? And then understand funnels. The first year I did 120K. Second year I did 275K. Third year, I was 23-ish. I made my first $1 million profit, $1.2 million. Yeah. And thank you. And I call up my dad, and you have to understand, you know, he's short, bald, Asian man. And I said, Dad, I just made it. I'm a millionaire. And he says, son, don't tell no one. And I was like, and then he said those words, okay, you got lucky. You're not going to do it again. Just save that money. And I was like, ugh. I was like, no, but I figured out a system, and the system works. So it wasn't necessarily me. And I didn't tell anyone. I just quietly went to work, and I doubled the business, $2.4 million. Next year, $3.6 million, blah, blah, blah. I made about $10 million whilst I was living with my parents in the parents' spare room, the room that they had for me. And then after my first $10 million, I realized, okay, I can go and afford a business class flight. And then I spent about 3-4 years on the road. I traveled about 50, 60 countries. And this is the reason why I share this stuff is to give you guys an epiphany of what's possible. Does that make sense? Okay. And let's talk about the big elephant in the room, because it's in my head. You know, I just flew back to London because I was in South Africa, Dubai, New York, Chicago, probably in the last 4 weeks. So I'm back for this event. It's only a few days. And I'm thinking to myself, how many of you got affected? Now, even for myself, I got affected with this whole pandemic thing. Some things are out of your control. But how many of you got affected where you had to be locked up in your house? or you can't travel? Raise your hand. I want to see that hand. Don't be shy. So I'd say about good 85%. The rest 15%, they're just lazy. That's why they don't want to put their hand up. You're going to have to do a lot of work if you want to make $1 million. So start raising your hands. And I'm thinking to myself, the pandemic started, and they had this, I don't know, lockdown or whatever they called it, quarantine. And I said to my wife, find me every single country that's going to let us travel. And I think I traveled maybe 6 or 8 different countries in the last 12 months. And as I was kind of doing this presentation, I was thinking to myself, man, all these people need is a damn funnel. Right? You get yourself the right funnel, and then everything else flows in. So I'm really excited. I'm going to get cracking on. I talk really fast, which is why I'm going to hook you guys up with the slides. Please do forgive me up front. I am going to go real fast, and I'm going to show you basically how my company makes $20,000, $30,000 a day. And the cool thing is, how many of you guys would love to be a coach, consultant, course creator, but then take a long break, AKA retire? I tried retiring like 2-3 times. At 26, I had a midlife crisis. I told my dad, I've made all this money. I want to start teaching people. He said, don't teach anyone. You work so hard. I said, Dad, but I'm not fulfilled. He said, you make a lot of money. Why are you not fulfilled? I said, that's my dad. So, okay, by the way, not all Asian men are like that. It's just my dad. He's very special. And the reason why I say this stuff, you guys, is because once I cracked the code, which I boiled it down to 7 steps, everything just flows easier. The last few days I've been here, no one has spoken about how to walk away from your business. Okay? Where you can exit for a large sum of money. Okay? And then secondly, how do you put together a team that delivers all of the work? How many of you would be interested in that? Okay? Right now, the main offers that I have, which start off at 10K, 18K, 50K, almost most of them, I have no delivery. Do you guys understand what I mean? I sell the stuff, or my funnels sell the stuff, and then my team delivers. So I don't do any of the delivery. I don't do any of the tech. I'm not bogged down. If I got 10 customers this month, or if I got 100 customers, it doesn't affect my mental stability. Does that make sense? When you're a coach or consultant and you're making under 30K a month, that's going to be your biggest challenge. Who agrees? You're going to work so hard to get that customer. That customer is usually going to be the wrong customer, and they don't pay you enough. And then they're going to be such a headache, and they're going to drain and suck the soul out of you. Yes or no? And then you're going to think to yourself, I need to go to another event, another conference to find the next shiny object. So let's get cracking on. I've got a good 30 minutes. I'm also going to skip past some of these slides. But essentially, this stuff wasn't cheap. I buried myself. I traveled all over the world to go and meet all of the best entrepreneurs, networked with them, made friends with them, to go and figure out exactly what goes on in their business and how can I apply it to my own business. And I am a strong believer in, if you can pay for a solution, pay for it. You guys get that? Okay? If there's someone that can help you and they're going to charge you money, trust me, pay the damn money. Why? Because your life energy is something that you're never going to get back. Some people I speak to and they're like, man, for the last 5 years, I've been trying to get this online business off the ground. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why does it have to take you 5 years when it can take you 5 weeks, right? And so, obviously, I went really hard. I spent a lot of time with a lot of people. They all seem to be guys there. But I've spent a ridiculous amount of money because I realized if I can just learn 1 or 2 things, it will save me years of headache and heartache. Does that make sense? So this is the question that you have to ask yourself is, who can come and help me? It's not what you have to do. Everyone knows what you have to do. But it's who needs to be on your team. Okay? So, let's go. When you get this right, I saw yesterday, or the day before, John Pemberley speaking. He was at one of my events when he was a young kid. I think he's maybe 18 or 19 years old. He was coming to one of my events. Anyway, I have a ton of customers. I'm just going to go through this. And this is where, when you get this, you can charge 1,000, 10,000, 25,000 pounds for your course. You don't have to worry and think, who can come and afford my course? Does that make sense? There's a big difference between how can I get a customer and then how can I get a customer that's going to pay me the money that I want? Okay, and I've proven this over and over again. How many of you know a guy called Russell Brunson? Okay, raise your hand, let me see. Okay, most of you. So he created a company called ClickFunnels. They do about 100 million a year. And I wanted to sell him a service, which was a 6-figure service. Okay, it's actually a little bit more than that, but I'll just give you the 6-figure sum. This is what he sent to me recently. $125,000. Okay, all of that's profit. Just from one customer. That silence, I don't know if, did you guys get that? One customer. And I remember about 10 years ago, I used to watch his YouTube videos. And I used to think to myself, oh, wow, this is a really cool guy. He was like one of the earliest millionaires online. And anyway, and then last month, this happens. One phone call, 1 hour. I asked the guy, hey, how long have you been following me? Because he's never bought anything from me. This guy in the middle, I'm the guy on the end. Okay, and the guy in the middle, one phone call, 1 hour, and he says, I want your 100K program. He wires like 60K upfront as a deposit. And why? Because of funnels, right? I asked him, how long have you been following me for? He goes, 10 years. I said, you've never purchased anything from me. He goes, yeah, I know. This is my first purchase, and it's a big one. And I said, keep buying. Okay? Yeah, because it's not 100K. I said, it's 100K per year. He messaged me a few days ago, and he said, I talked to my dad. We're committed for at least the next 2 to 3 years for 100K per year. All right, so let's go through. The traditional website is this, plain, boring, simple. It's like handing out brochures, business cards, the stuff I used to do 10 years ago. The secret is sales funnels. Sales funnels is, remember how I said, if you can learn to get customers coming to you, you become more valuable. That way, you don't really care if 100 people say no to you. You just need that one guy that's going to pay you, and you can be taken care of for the rest of the year. Yes or no? Okay? So, secret is sales funnels. Why does sales funnels work so well? It's the most efficient way to get mass number of people coming to you. That's it in a nutshell. And then qualifying them. So let's go through this. We focus on done-for-you programs. This is a big mistake most people are making. They're focused way too much on everything else. What they need to focus on is the high-ticket offer. When you have the right offer, the right people will come because now you can convert a click to a customer. Does that make sense? Okay, so, this is important. Offer price. Let me ask you this. How many of you here want to make at least $1 million in the next 12 months? Okay, what is that per day? Yeah, there you go. Okay, so this is important, guys, because it's funny. I used to do events in my 20s. In my 30s, I kind of retired. But in my 20s, I did over 100 live events and seminars all over the world. And one of the most common questions we would open the seminar with is, how many of you want to become a millionaire? And everyone raises their hand. And then we'd say, how much is that per day? And one smart guy, usually in Singapore, would get his phone out and start doing the math. Okay, it's about $2,700 per day. And so if it's $2,700 per day, you need one sale per day. That means your price point for your products and services starting today need to be at least how much? $3,000 or £3,000, whatever the case is. How many of you sell stuff under $3,000? You guys are in a lot of trouble. I know they're all hyping you up and stuff, but you guys are in a lot of shit. All right. You need to increase your price. Here's why. Very simple. Your competition is not necessarily the guy behind you, the girl next to you. Your competition is being able to advertise on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, where you can predictably, spend $1 and make $3, $5, $10 back. Does that make sense? But you can't spend that money if you don't understand this, your offer and the pricing. So make it a rule that you're going to charge $3,000 for your products and services. Number two, Cost per acquisition. This is the thing that changed my life forever. You have to understand how much are you willing to spend to get that one customer. That's the CPA, okay? Your cost per acquisition is probably, like these two numbers are the two important numbers. And if you take your emotions out, if you remove all of the stuff, you have to unlearn a lot of things. If you remove all of those things, what happens is you are now able to operate from just pure data. Does that make sense, you guys? Okay, so like even when I was coming to this event, and I did it as a favor to Matt, but I also know I'm going to get a bunch of business from here. Okay, I did the math, and I'm like, okay, it's going to cost me about £10,000 plus 3 days of my time. Okay, how much do I need to make back for it to be worth it? 120 grand. That's the number, by the way. Okay, just putting it out there. Do you guys see where I'm going with this? Okay, I can tell every single activity in my business. What's the input versus the output? Can you do the same? If not, now would be a good time to take inventory. Okay? All right, next. These are some of the clients. This is what we need to work on. First, usually most people, and it's fine if you're employed, but just know this is the sticking point where you're trading time for money. The thinking that you want to develop, adapt, and embrace is, how do I stop trading time for money? So every single thing that you do becomes an asset. What does it come? Okay? How many of you are going to walk away from here with an asset? Just one, two? Every single photo that you take with a speaker is an asset. Yes or no? When I started the presentation, did I show you guys those pictures? Yeah. What you don't know is I have shown probably 10,000 people or 20,000 people those pictures of me and Tony Robbins. By the way, I had to buy his $75,000 mastermind. Okay? But that photo made it worth it. I never attended any of the events after that. But anyway, that's a whole different story. So, employed. Next thing is skilled. Your current skills dictate your current income. If you want to make more income, you have to upgrade your skills. The skills most people go and learn is usually not the skills that make them the most money. I'll tell you what the skills that you need to learn is: 1, copywriting; number 2, funnel strategy; number 3, sales. Because if you have good marketing, you can do less selling. How many of you want to sell less and market more? That's the leverage, you guys. Okay, so when I work with coaches and consultants, they want to help people, but they hate selling. Anyone else relate? They just don't want to ask for the money. I'm like, okay, what you need to do is have the right funnels and get the funnels to do the selling for you. The next one is where you position yourself as an expert. And then at the 8-figure level is where you become the owner, okay? And I'm just going to say this to you guys. Hopefully it stretches your mind. True wealth really starts at your first $10 million, okay? I know some of you guys are like, man, I just want to make 10 grand a month and pay off my damn car bills and mortgage. But let me just tell you, the world that we're living in, okay, especially with NFTs and crypto and all of this craziness, $1 million doesn't get you that far. So you all need to think a little bit bigger. Is that cool with you guys? Okay, cool. So let's go through the 7 stages. How many stages? 7, and I'm going to go from real quick. Again, I am going to give you the slides, so don't worry. I just want you to get the gist. The first and foremost is finding your niche. Okay, finding your niche. This will identify, basically, it's to define who you want to help. So for me and my businesses, we do not want to help everyone, as direct as that sounds. Our business is not to do business with everyone. It's to do business with a select group of people that are in a certain bracket, that are ready to invest. And most of my clients are actually around 40 plus. Okay? Now, I was targeting 40 plus customers when I was 21 years old. Do you guys get that? Because I realized I was 21, I got myself into 40K of debt, but most 21-year-olds are out doing whatever they do. Okay? But the people that have the money are usually 40 plus. No offense to anyone under 30, okay, or under 40. But basically, be very clear on who your target market is. Does that make sense? Okay, mine is very simple. If you can't afford my products, you're not my target market. And that's okay. There's lots of free stuff that I'm going to share with you guys. But define your niche, market it, and own it. And then define what area of mastery. Okay, this is very, very key. You want to think to yourself, how do I position myself as the highest paid person for my ideal clients? Okay, why? Because you do not want to be the cheapest. It's a race down to the bottom if you're the cheapest. Okay, so I know I'm the most expensive funnel consultant in UK, that's 100% for sure, but in the world, I'd say probably in the top 5 or 10. Very few people can charge and get paid 250 grand for funnels. Does that make sense, you guys? Okay, so it's a lot easier than you think to be the best in the world at one thing, but if you start positioning yourself with so many different things, then the value will go down. Okay, so what we want is a moat. Essentially, a moat is what gives you a competitive advantage. So me owning funnels.com was not by accident. Okay, it's an easy to remember domain. How many of you guys will remember that when you go home, even today? Yes, please make sure you go and join my funnel, funnels.com. All right, so finding your niche. Actually, let's talk about finding your niche. If you choose the wrong niche, life becomes misery. If you choose the right niche, you will make a lot of money. It's as simple as that. If right now you're not happy with your business, you're not happy with how much money you're making, ask yourself, who else can I target? Does that make sense? Maybe the right client for you is someone who's 45 years old, lives in Singapore, has an extra 100K cash with 3 credit cards, is on the verge of retirement, is very bored, unfulfilled, and wants excitement and adventure, and you're going to give him that. You see where I'm going with this? So at any moment, don't get attached to your product. Here's what you need to be attached to: the market. Okay? I mean, I don't really care about my products because my products will change every single year, but I'm very attached to the business owner that I want to help. Okay, so understanding your prospects' pain points. Knowing your prospects' pain points is what's going to let you build trust and convert them much faster. Okay, from click to client. We want them, you know, and I'm sure you've heard, like I just heard someone say, you know, you shouldn't ask for the sale. It's a great talk on YouTube, and that's okay. But I've got bills to pay. Anyone else? Yeah, I need to make some money now. All right, so it's okay. You can have the long-term vision, but don't forget to take care of yourself first. What that means is ask for the sale. Anyone else with me, or am I the only one? Only one person. Thanks. Okay, really boosts my confidence here. All right, nail your messaging. Your messaging will attract the type of avatar, the type of customer that you're going to get. Once upon a time, I was in Malaysia, and I did an ad, and the ad said, I was in a hotel, the lady in the lobby, she sold me this ad. She said, I can get you on the newspaper. I work for Star Newspaper. I said, okay, that sounds really cool. I said, put my face on there and say, Bangladeshi ex-construction worker becomes a millionaire. And I'm thinking to myself, I was really young and stupid. I was like 23 years old. I'm thinking, man, the room is going to be packed with people. I walk into the room, and there's 6 people. And I'm like, what do you guys do? And they were Bangladeshi construction workers. And after that, I got the message. So your message, nail your messaging down. Here's a little framework. I help XYZ achieve XYZ result in specific time frame or without a specific pain. Okay, this is an example of niching down on one client. You know, yesterday someone said, oh, now my book is for everyone. I'm like, man, you're already playing a losing game if you think you're going to help everyone. Yeah, I'm telling you, I can't help everyone. Like, you know what I mean? So, niching down on one client. Here's the best way to do that. And I learned this from one of my mentors, a guy called Dan Sullivan from Strategic Coach. I paid him about $35,000 to help me with my mindset. I didn't tell my dad that because my dad would probably slap me and say, why do you need help with your mindset and pay this man $35,000? And that's what I paid him. And one of the things that he told me was, it's called your best payday. So identify in the last 1 year, in the last 10 years, who has given you the biggest payday, which client, and then go and find the characteristics of that person, and that's your client. So mine was this guy. Back in 2010, he purchased a $10,000 product from me. And a few years later, he went through my funnel. He purchased more. Recently, he met me after like 8 years. Can you imagine? 10 years ago, he bought a product. And about 8 years later, he meets me in person in London. I'm like, wow, man. He's been getting my emails. He's been going through my funnel. Like, I haven't been talking to the guy, but my funnel has been talking. Does that make sense? And then he comes up and he buys a $40,000 coaching program from us, okay, and then pays $6,000 a month for done-for-you lead generation. You see how that one customer can create massive amounts of windfall profits for years and years to come. Do you guys get that? Is this powerful stuff? Yeah. All right, let's move on. Engaging your perfect client customer. And engaging essentially means, how are you communicating with them? Listen, there's so many different social media sites. The highest ROI you're going to get from any of your marketing is email marketing. Okay, write that down. The reason why I'm delivering, hopefully. By the way, has this been valuable stuff, yes or no? Yeah. One of the reasons why I'm doing this is by the end, hopefully you really like this stuff and you just give me your email address. That's it. I don't even have a credit card machine. I mean, damn Matt, he's not here. I could definitely sell you guys something. But we're going to have to leave that. I'm going to have to leave that for another day. But if you give me your email address, then you and I are going to be in touch, yes or no? Yeah. And maybe you're like, I just met this guy. He talks too much. I don't like him. Spend maybe 3 years getting my emails. And you're going to come to my events. And you're going to buy something. But here's the thing, guys. I'm not going to be following up one-on-one. Does that make sense? The funnels are going to do this. So what's the biggest, highest leverage activity you can do from today? Collect emails. Okay, this was my email. This is one of my email lists. I've generated over 1.5 million subscribers. The first time I started generating subscribers, people will write back to me, you look like a terrorist. Shakir Hussain, are you related to Saddam Hussein? I am reporting to you to the FBI. And I'd be like, man, I'm sure it's not FBI in this country. Like all sorts of rubbish, right? And I was so close to just giving up. Maybe you can relate to that. And now, guys, over 1 million people have come through the Shakir Hussain funnel. So it doesn't really matter what you look like, what you sound like, what your name is, if you have a weird name like Shakir Hussain, okay? Bottom line is, people will come in and want to do business if the offer is right. Yes or no? Okay, and so each and every single day, I send an email to my list. It takes me about 15, 20 minutes a day. It's probably the only one activity I don't like outsourcing and delegating. Everything else in my business is delegated to the point where I just don't do anything else other than just whatever I want to do. I focus on just enjoying the moment. I'm learning to be present. I guess that's what marriage is doing to me. But anyway, email marketing, closest thing to push my money. At any given time, I can whack up any offer. I could, you have an offer? Yeah, how much do you sell it for? 2.5 grand. I could say, hey, let me take your offer and I can email it to 500,000, 1 million subscribers, and it's going to take me a few minutes. Do you guys see how powerful that is? By the way, almost every single person that you know that makes maybe $1 million, $10 million or more, they all have an email list. So if you don't have an email list, this is the number one asset you need to build. Please write that down. Okay? So each day we send an email. Sometimes we'll get up to 10, 11, 12, 15,000 people, whatever the case is, opening those emails. And I could literally say or send any message to them. Okay? This has been the highest ROI activity that I've ever done in my entire career. Okay? How do I engage? This is the hook that we use. Which funnel works for you? And then look what it says at the bottom. It says, claim your free 45-minute call because you're going to find out which funnel works for you. There's over 50 funnels and only one works for you. Do I have your attention now? Yeah. And so then I say, go to funnels.com and book a discovery session. So in your business, what is the thing that people want? In my business, it's very simple. People have a product like you, but they're lacking customers, new customers daily. Maybe you have a system already, that's fine. but most people are lacking new daily customers and they don't have the room to scale up. And so we basically say what you're missing is a done-for-you funnel. Come to my site, funnels.com, and I'm going to build you a done-for-you funnel. And so on the call, what happens is we give them a 30 to 45-minute session, and we explain to them what different funnels are. And then we say, hey, you can do this yourself, or do you want us to do it for you? Does that make sense? So in most cases, except for fitness industries, because you can't really work out for someone, but most industries, you can come up with a premium offer. So just think to yourself, how can I come up with a premium offer? Book's called, here's a quick little summary. Always focus on, right now, what's the output? Meaning, say for example, how much money is coming into your business each and every single day, each and every single month, each and every single year, and then work backwards and think, okay, what are the inputs I need to go and fix up? And there's not 101, guys. There's literally a few. Okay, here's a few of the inputs. The webinar, which is the VSL or a sales presentation, the traffic that you're getting, whether it's on social media, free traffic or paid traffic. How many of you are doing free traffic? Okay, like half. How many of you are doing paid traffic? Okay, I'm just going to share this with you guys. The reason why I was able to generate over 1 million subscribers is like 99% of those people, I paid for it. Like there's no faster way to grow a business than just plunk 1,000, 5,000, whatever, some money down so you can get market feedback, right? Otherwise, it's like I can get 500,000 people to watch my video on YouTube for less than maybe 10 grand. Okay, try and go and getting 500,000 of your, you don't have 500,000 people on your friends list on Facebook or on Instagram. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm very impatient. I don't have months and years to spend to build up a following. I'll rather just pay my way in. Okay, so next one is leveraging tech. The shift that happened here is very simple. It's not a what problem, it's a who problem. So you have to ask yourself, who can come and help me? Okay, every time you get stuck, instead of saying, oh, what do I need to do? Just ask yourself, who can come and help me? Leveraging tech, automation, structuring your offers. Let's go through this. This is the most important part of this from me is, one, you have to have a transformational offer of some sort that takes someone from being in pain to their ideal, pleasurable lifestyle, okay? Structuring your offers. And, you know, I don't want to show too much of this stuff, but it's not a surprise where we can make $50, $70, $100,000 in a single day. And I want to share this with you guys. It's not me doing the work. Do you guys get that? Okay, I set up the system is doing the work. The system is getting me the sale, the team is taking care of the customer, and that gives me more space to just focus on where I want to take the business. Okay, structure your business to sell high-price programs, higher price product margins. Why? Because the more profit that you're going to make, the more you can spend on the back end. Okay, the more you can spend on the back end, the bigger and faster your business is going to grow. The number one thing that I see, apart from not having the right funnels, is people just don't charge enough. Okay, and a little hack that I used to use is I would go and spend a lot of time in fancy hotels like Four Seasons, Ritz-Carlton, the Dorchester, and you guys can all go to London. Go visit one of those places and be okay with expensive things, even if you can't afford it just yet. You guys get that? Okay, I used to go into this shop called Mont Blanc. You guys know Mont Blanc? All right, and you can, and I have a bad addiction to collecting these pens. But these pens cost anywhere from 500 to 1,000 pounds, right? No one in the right mind needs to spend 500 pounds on a pen. Yes or no? But does that company make a lot of money? And I'm like, man, I just love that company so much. Every time I see, I'm like a little kid in a candy store, and I just go. And you have to ask yourself, how do you position yourself to be a Mont Blanc? Right? And you don't need 1,000 customers. Just start with 1. Just start with 10. The more you can spend on traffic, the faster your business grows. This is one of my students. He was at 6 figures, stuck, kind of in that rabbit hole. All I said to him was, increase your price to $12.5K, and now he's doing about $1.5 million per month. He just got himself a new Lamborghini. Let's give him a big round of applause. Those awards as well, those awards represent $1 million. So I'm going to go through this real quick, structuring your offers. First phase is you're learning the skill. Second phase is you're teaching the skill. Third phase is you're leveraging skilled people, okay? So wherever you're at right now, and you know where you're at, these are the different phases that you're going to go through. My last few slides, Tony Robbins. How many of you guys are Tony Robbins fans? Okay? If you see, he puts a lot of free stuff out. But did you know, just like me, you could go right to the end and just buy a platinum business, and it says 65K. Now it's about $75,000 to, I think, $90,000. And only once you buy, then you find out there's actually, you have to pay for every single event. So I was like, so what am I paying for? But anyway, sometimes you make stupid decisions. That wasn't a stupid decision. That was a wise decision because I got a photo with him. That's how I justified it. I said to my wife, I'll pay for you, just go and get a photo. So those photos were worth it, I think. All right, that's the summary, finding your niche. Every funnel, this is the fundamental principle that you guys need to have. If you don't have this, then your funnels usually don't work, okay? So anytime you're stuck or anytime you're not getting the right customers, just ask yourself, which part of these 7 steps am I missing? So guys, if you guys need help with funnels, I did speak to Matt. I said, hey, Matt, I'm launching a course next week. I'd love to sell it to you guys, but I'm going to give it to you guys for free. Anyone interested? Okay, it's going to be at least 5 days. I'm going to teach this course live. I'm either going to be in Dubai or in London or wherever, but I'm going to be teaching this course. You guys can get access to it for free. I'm going to send you a link. Make sure that you take a picture of this link. This is what it looks like. Well, I'm going to give you guys my new sales funnels playbook. Shows you the 10 different products that you should create, starting with just one, so you don't have to be overwhelmed. The 5-day live challenge, and then I'm going to give you a bunch of funnel templates, especially for if you're a coach, consultant, or course creator. I'm going to hook you up with these funnel templates. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but essentially it's going to be 5 days. Everything from how do you identify the right mindset so you can charge high prices to converting customers from just a single click, and then automating your marketing. How do you get high-ticket products in the next 30 days? And then how do you really scale it with a team? Okay, who's interested in attending? All right, this is 100% free, but you have to use this link, guys, so then I know you're coming from Matt's team. This is the link. You'll also join my list with over 1 million subscribers. I hope you get my daily emails that I've been writing for the last 8.5 years of my life. I'm not complaining. All right, so anyway, guys, that's it from me. Appreciate it. God bless you guys. All the best.